You know what pisses me off about Berkeley? People are taking the problems there seriously, like it's important. And the other thing, everyone seems to want to criticize Antifa and BAM without criticizing the people that Antifa and BAM are attacking. You know, I'm not even sure I'm saying that right. Antifa? Antifa? Ain't-I-Fay?
And if you say Antifa, you fucking annoy the shit out of me, and I don't know why you say it like that. It's Antifa, anti-fascist, not anti-fascist.
Pronunciation is important, even when it's hard.
Dr. Furrier, it's hard. I'm sorry.
That's all right. A lot of people mispronounce it, but it sounds just the way it's spelled. H-F-U-H-R-U-H-U-R-R. Hard.
Antifa rolls right off the tongue. Antifa does not. Stressing that last syllable all the time would make me sound like an Oscar presenter struggling with a foreign name. Now maybe I'm just too Midwestern, but I'm going to say it the easy way. Now, getting to the issue at hand. Who is really at fault for the unrest at Berkeley? Is it really all the left? Is the right also to blame? Has the right become bad as well? These are nonsense questions. The protests and violence at Berkeley are not a struggle between the left and the right. It's a struggle between Antifa and anyone that Antifa deems an enemy. That's not the same as a struggle between left and right. Because Antifa is not the left. They tend to attack Trump supporters and right-wing gatherings, and you can make a pretty reasonable case that this represents the right. But this is not the left. Antifa does not represent the left any more than the KKK represents the right. You know, that gives me an idea. Let's turn this situation inside out with an alternate reality hypothetical. We'll go through the looking glass or travel to Earth 3 or have a transporter accident, and we'll end up on a world where everything is different, but everything is the same. As it turns out, in this alternate reality, Trump is still president. Maybe they were onto something. Berkeley will be different in this mirror world, though. There is still a group of masked agitators using violence against their political opposition, but instead of dressing in black, in this alternate reality, they wear white. We're going to have to make another adjustment to this reality, though. The Klan are not bashing people in red hats on this world. Instead, they're bashing people in pink hats. Now just imagine that. The Ku Klux Klan arriving at political meetings and free speech rallies to kick the hell out of people they don't like. Democrats and political protests and never-Trumpers regularly confronted by thugs in white armed with mace and with clubs. Though it might not sound likely, somehow on this alternate Earth, the Pink Hats managed to defend themselves against the KKK fairly well. And the violence escalates, because the Pink Hats won't be silenced. They keep gathering, in greater numbers. Now, the KKK might have shut down scheduled speeches from Cenk Uygur and Keith Olbermann, but the Pussy Hat gatherings just keep happening. Strangely, the police are nowhere to be seen. It's almost like someone has told them not to get involved when the Klan arrives to break up left-wing assemblies. Now, what would my opinion of the situation be in that alternate world? The Women's March was a joke, and the anti-Trump demonstrations after the elections were a national embarrassment. All the same, in this hypothetical world, I'd side with the Pink Hats over their aggressors without reservation. I would want to see the Pink Hats arrive at their gatherings in greater and greater numbers to defend their rights to free speech and their rights to assembly. If I lived in that world, how would I react if someone told me that I had to be aware that the people in the Pussy Hats were also bad? No more pretending that one side is always right and the other side is always wrong. Would I accept that? Hell no. Here in the real world, a lot of people siding against Antifa are not claiming that the flag wavers and the Trump supporters are all right all the time. But when it comes to the specific issue of the Mussolini-style tactics of breaking up opposing groups with force, then the side that causes the violence is entirely wrong. The people who continue to gather in spite of the threat of violence, they are right to continue to gather. Because they're fighting for something just by gathering. They're making the statement that violence will not stop their ideas. If I hear some things that make the conservatives and patriots sound stupid or unreasonable, it doesn't change the fact that I oppose Antifa and BAM completely and that that's more important. Not because of their political positions. It's because of their violence. For them, violence is not the last resort. It's their favorite tactic. Yes, I have seen some incidents that make it look like the right sometimes makes the first move, and I can't condone that. But I'm not going to let that overshadow the fact that the morons in black have made it very clear that they want to silence their enemies, and that they will continue to bring violence to accomplish that. They have even had some successes. There have been canceled events. And I'm a lot more concerned about that than I am about the brawling. You're disgusted by the violence? Fine. But the real solution to that problem is to get the police involved to maintain the peace. That's something the police are supposed to do. But in Berkeley, they just sit around and pretend it's not their job.
I mean, I'm just wondering why I've been watching all day. People get beat up pretty bad. I haven't seen you guys around much.
Okay. And? We're police officers. We're not trained to handle this kind of violence.
You want to complain about the violence? Then complain about that. One last thing. Some people would like to trivialize the whole thing and pretend that the red hats and the flag wavers are all just assholes wasting their time over nothing. And I disagree. To me, it's a real issue whenever anyone has their rights trampled on. Freedom of speech and freedom of assembly are important, and they are maintained one conflict at a time. This is not a non-issue. It doesn't matter that it's Republicans and right-wingers that Antifa is stomping on. If they were breaking up Star Trek conventions, it would be the same argument. The people who are attacking, the people who put violence into the equation, are wrong, even if tempers flare on the other side. If Antifa and BAM manage to silence and disperse their adversaries, if they are allowed to win, then it would set the precedent that in America, violence is a practical tool to overcome ideological opposition.